What is up, Chiefs Kingdom? Welcome back to another video on my channel. My name is Josh Fan of ShowMeFootball.com and ArrowheadAddict.com, covering your Kansas City Chiefs. And guys, today I wanted to talk about the major changes that the Kansas City Chiefs need to make this offseason after getting embarrassed in the Super Bowl against the Philadelphia Eagles. After watching that game, we know what the holes are on this Chiefs team. And I know everyone is eager to see what the Kansas City Chiefs plan is. And I'm going to break that down for you in this video, what I think the plan should be for the Kansas City Chiefs this offseason and how those needs should be addressed specifically. So today I made a list of the top 5 things that I think the Kansas City Chiefs need to address in order to get back to the Super Bowl and actually win it this time around, or at least look a lot more competitive than they did in Super Bowl 59 against the Philadelphia Eagles. And so I think, everyone knows what the number one biggest thing is on Brett Veach's to-do list this offseason, and that's to fix the left tackle position. Left tackle was once again the biggest reason that the Kansas City Chiefs lost in Super Bowl 59. While Joe Thuney filled in admirably for a long while, we knew that that was bound to not work at some point because Joe Thuney does not have the length of a true left tackle. We saw him get pushed back in the Super Bowl. And then, of course, having to move him away from left guard gives you a significant downgrade in Mike Caliendo. But anyway, left tackle. That is a problem that seems to be persisting with the Kansas City Chiefs year after year. It's been a revolving door of sorts. How do they fix it once and for all? Well, I think if you want to fix it once and for all, you got to make a big move in free agency or trading for one. Now, that's not to say necessarily that there's any trade candidates that come to mind immediately. I mean, usually good left tackles aren't available for trade, but free agency, there's a couple solid names that exist out there. Ronnie Stanley of the Baltimore Ravens, he's been good when healthy. Problem is he hasn't stayed healthy that much. Then there's Alaric Jackson of the Los Angeles Rams. I made a video on him the other day. And I honestly think that should be plan A, Alaric Jackson. And I have some concerns about him, and he's not the kind of guy that meets the Chiefs' typical thresholds at the position. He has shorter arms. He's not athletic. The Chiefs usually like athletic tackles with long arms. Alaric Jackson would be going against that. But here's the thing with Alaric Jackson that you can't deny. He's been a good football player. He thrived in a Sean McVay offense in Los Angeles. And we know that the Chiefs are desperate to fill that position. So you might just have to go away from what you're typically comfortable with in order to effectively fill a need in Alaric Jackson. And even then, and the reason why I'd be fully in favor of an Alaric Jackson signing is because I believe he would not cost that much if he were to actually hit free agency. I know he's going to have some suitors, but I don't think, you're paying him like a superstar left tackle. I think you could get him for cheaper than what you're paying Jawan Taylor to play right tackle for you. But the biggest reason why I like Alaric Jackson is because even if he doesn't work out at left tackle, you can still draft someone in this draft that you like and still develop them. You can still continue to develop Kingsley to see if he has a shot there, Wanya Morris as well. And at worst, if Alaric Jackson doesn't work out at left tackle, I think he can make a really solid right tackle or even a guard when you inevitably move on from Trey Smith this offseason or Joe Thuney in a future offseason. I really like Alaric Jackson at either of those spots as well. And then you could even still bring back DJ Humphries as veteran depth to provide a good floor for you, because I still think that DJ Humphries, with the fall offseason and getting back to being healthy, could still be someone that provides good depth for you. But that's number one on the Chiefs to-do list, obviously. Now, this is kind of if I were running the Kansas City Chiefs, but the second thing I would do after addressing left tackle would be go and get a stud wide receiver. Go and get a big name wide receiver. And some may disagree with me on this because they don't see wide receiver as a position that the Chiefs need to invest a bunch of money in. However, you have Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy. That's a good start. But everyone else that matters really is a free agent this offseason. You need more than that. Rashee Rice is slated to miss time at the beginning of next year. And also, those guys are on rookie contracts. Go and spend some money on a big-name wide receiver. If T. Higgins were to actually hit free agency and not be franchise tagged, shoot, throw him a bag. Throw him 4 years for 120. and just see if he'd say yes. Chris Godwin's going to be out there. Devontae Adams, if he gets released, is going to be out there, it sounds like. I would be calling those guys and being like, hey, want to come play for Kansas City? Want to come play with Patrick Mahomes, try to get us back to this thing, because I think that Patrick Mahomes is kind of missing that Sammy Watkins, of this era of Chiefs football, that third guy in the wide receiver room that can actually threaten the defense. This offense has kind of turned into Alex Smith led Chiefs the last few years, and it just doesn't make any sense. You have Patrick Mahomes. It's like, again, owning a Ferrari but never going over 25 miles per hour in it. Does not make sense. You have this, generational weapon in Patrick Mahomes. Give him guys, man. Give him something to work with. Like, I like the young guys in the Chiefs wide receiver room right now, but go and get that next guy. Like, make this offense unstoppable again. I want to see that. I want to see the Chiefs go back to scoring 30, 35 points a game. And the way to do that is to grab another really good wide receiver. And everyone wants to say the Chiefs won't have cap space. Yes, they will. And there are things that they can do to open cap space. Clark Hunt can send more cash flow to his players to manipulate the cap. It can be done. Question is, will the Chiefs be that aggressive in trying to add another wide receiver? Or will they just try to run him back with Hollywood Brown, DeAndre Hopkins, something like that? We'll see. But if I was running the Chiefs, I would try to be aggressive and get Mahomes another stud receiving weapon, especially if Travis Kelce retires or even if he's back. I think, at this age, you just have to start adding more outside of Travis Kelce, because clearly he's not what he was 2 years ago. But I think I'll save that spiel there. Um, Next need that I have on my list that I would love to see the Kansas City Chiefs address this offseason is running back. The Chiefs need an explosive running back. Kareem Hunt did an admirable job, all things considered. Isaiah Pacheco, I've really cooled on him over this past season. I still think he belongs in a rotation, but I'm just not seeing it with him. And I know he came off the broken leg. It's a tough injury to come back from, as a running back. But even before, it's not like Isaiah Pacheco was popping off big runs. He's never really been an explosive play running back. He's been good. He's been decent, but this isn't a guy that's like a home run threat. Isaiah Pacheco's not a home run threat. Is he fast in a straight line? Does he run hard? Does he run angry? Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily correlate to explosive plays. The Chiefs need more explosive play at running back, and I believe the best way to do that, or to address that need, is through the draft. This draft is deep at running back. There's a lot of guys out there that, I know you viewers out there, you guys like DJ Giddens from K-State, Devin Neal from Kansas, a couple of local guys that I would be happy to see in this Chiefs offense. So, free agency, I don't want to spend money at running back, especially when you have needs at left tackle and wide receiver. Go and draft the running back and draft one high. And when I say high, I mean like third or fourth round. You don't have to get one in the first or second round, but I'd like to see a relatively high investment into the running back position. The next thing that I have after that I want to see the Kansas City Chiefs address is getting a true free safety. And I think the best way to do this would be a cheap veteran free agent, because usually the safety market is very cheap. Um, and there will be a couple free safeties out there. Otherwise, you could look to draft one, but I would like to see this one addressed through free agency. The Kansas City Chiefs, I really like their safety room from this past year. I love Justin Reed, would love to see him back. Jaden Hicks obviously is going to be a player. Brian Cook is still going to figure into the rotation. Shamari Connor's still there. The problem is none of those guys are true free safeties. They're not cover safeties. These are all box strong safeties that you can move around. But we saw at times that Brian Cook, who they tried to make their free safety this year, was getting absolutely lost in coverage. And I know he had that interception in the Super Bowl, but that was unlike him, actually. Even in that AFC Championship game, he got caught big time by Mac Hollins a couple times. And he's just not a free safety. Brian Cook is a strong safety. I feel like the Chiefs have a lot of strong safeties, but they don't have a free safety. And there's some guys in this draft that I think could maybe fill the need if you're not going to go the free agent route, maybe like an Xavier Watts or an Andrew Makuba. Um, But we'll see, man. I don't know how aggressive the Chiefs will be to address this. They might still think they have their free safety in that room somewhere, but I'm just not seeing it. I don't know, man. We'll see. Because Justin Reed, if they want to bring him back, that's going to be considered an investment to them. I just don't think Justin Reed is a free safety. Um, and who knows, that could mean that you say goodbye to him. But we'll see. I don't know. That's more something further down the list that if they don't get to it, it's not the biggest deal in the world. I mean, they still had a good defense this year despite that. But that's one thing that I look at and I say, I would like the Chiefs to add this on defense because their defense really doesn't need that much, right? I mean, they just need a couple tweaks here and there, and they just need to continue building through the draft. But the defense is fine for the most part. They have some free agents in house that they got to take care of, and we'll see. But I would like to see them get to free safety if they can. But then last and not least, that I have on here also on the defensive side of the ball, I would like to see the Kansas City Chiefs add yet another either draft pick or veteran at the edge position to provide a little bit more pass rush juice. Um, you guys know I've been tough on George Karlaftis and Mike Dana because I believe as starting defensive ends, those guys aren't winning enough of their one-on-ones. The Chiefs pass rush with the front four took a step back this year compared to the previous 2 years. Charles Omenihu, helped when he came back, and George Karlaftis turned up the heat late in the season, but these are still guys that do not have high enough pass rush win rates. Felix Inudike Ozama is still a bit of an unknown at this point, hasn't done all that much yet. I think you have to add either a veteran free agent or another young guy in the draft that has some serious pass rushing traits because I'm waiting for the Chiefs to pair Chris Jones up with that really good pass rushing partner for once. And George Karlaftis, I think, is a good number two still, but I don't think he's a number one defensive end. And I would like to see the Chiefs add like a true starting defensive end that has the pass rush ability that would warrant him starting. Charles Omenihu is going to be a free agent, a key free agent. I don't know if the Chiefs will bring him back or not. If they did, would not be upset, but I also wouldn't make it stop or let it stop you from adding from the position. And if they don't bring back Charles Omenihu, a guy that I've talked about in a recent video that I would love to see join this team is Indianapolis Colts pass rusher Dio Odengbo. And he's a lot like Charles Omenihu in that he lines up all over. He doesn't quite have the huge sack numbers in Indy, but he generated a lot of pass rushers. He had a higher pass rush win rate than both Mike Dana and George Karlaftis in 2024. He's a load to deal with from just about any alignment on the field. He's got a lot of untapped potential, still only 25 years old. And the thing is, if you're not going to re-sign Omenihu, I like Odengbo because he's like a Charles Omenihu with more upside, and he's also a lot more available. That's been an issue with Charles Omenihu the last couple of years. He just hasn't been available. Suspension, injury, whatever it may be, you may want to look to an option that has more upside, and that would definitely be Dio Odengbo. But that's just a name that I throw out there. Regardless, I would like to see the Kansas City Chiefs add another edge with some pass rushing juice. You saw them burn a draft pick at the trade deadline to pick up Joshua Uche in hopes that he would be kind of that fastball for Steve Spagnuolo in the defensive line. For whatever reason, it didn't work out. It sucks because I really liked Uche. I liked the addition, and I think he's exactly what the Chiefs needed on the defensive line. But clearly, there was a difference in philosophy there when they acquired him. But I hope that Spags kind of breaks those traditional molds again, kind of the same way I talked about with left tackle. You may have to break outside, get out or break outside that comfort zone to address some of these needs because you need good football players. And sometimes it feels like the Kansas City Chiefs are a little bit more worried about finding a guy that fits their thresholds than who the actual better football player is. So that's kind of my little quick video, just speed running through the Kansas City Chiefs to-do list for this offseason, the top 5 things that I think they need to address, the major changes they need to make. So I want to hear from you guys for sure in the comments down below. Do you agree with all the things that I put on this list for the Kansas City Chiefs this offseason? Is there something that I didn't put on there that you would like to see them do that I didn't mention? Do you agree, disagree with anything? Definitely want to hear from you guys. So, with all that being said, make sure you like, share, and subscribe so more Chiefs fans can find this. And make sure you check out my work on ShowMeFootball.com and ArrowheadAddict.com for more. Last but not least, follow me on Twitter at ShowMeFB. That's all I got for you guys in this one. I will see you in the next one. And as always, go Chiefs.